Hi everyone. Today I'll be sharing MRSM, SPM MRSM trial paper 2021, paper 1. Okay, let's begin. Diagram 1 shows an apparatus used in laboratory. Part X of the apparatus is broken while a student is conducting an experiment. Which substance can be used to decontaminate the spills of chemical from part X in the laboratory? So X is actually mercury. Now to decontaminate it, we need to use, what is the option of answer here? Is it sulfur powder, sodium chloride, bromine powder, or sodium monofluorophosphate? Okay, so the answer is A, the sulfur powder. Okay. Next, diagram 2 show a unicellular organism. Due to a prolonged drought, it has to live in dry and low temperature habitat. Which of the following is the most suitable reproductive method for this organism? Now, under non-conducive environment, it will be amoeba will do not binary fission, because that will be for during when the condition is favorable. So under this condition, the best way that they can reproduce is through spore formation. Diagram 3 shows an experiment to study osmosis. So you can see the water molecule at K moving across to L. Okay, the molecule that is larger in size is the potassium manganate molecule. Okay, so water is moving from K to L. You can see that the height of the water at L is higher than K after a few minutes. So which of the following is true about the process? Now, the molecule of water diffuse from K to L until dynamic equilibrium is achieved. That's the correct answer. Water does not diffuse from L to K because L has higher concentration than K. Before the experiment, K has lower water potential. Okay, so but that doesn't cause that doesn't talk about the process. Yeah, yes, K has lower water potential. K is actually the water. So actually K is higher water potential than L, but the statement does not describe about the process. Okay, it does not explain about the process. Okay, before experiment, L has higher water potential. That is also not true, because if you look at the L has more particles compared to K. But at the end of the day, the molecule has spread across both K and L when it achieves dynamic equilibrium. Okay. Next, which of the following are related to sodium-potassium pump? Okay, sodium-potassium pump requires channel protein, correct? Transport hydrogen ion, is it correct? No. Requires energy from ATP molecule, correct? And movement of ion are against concentration gradient, 4. Now, so the answer is D, Now here, is it channel protein or carrier protein? It's carrier protein. So the sodium potassium pump requires carrier protein, not channel protein. So one is wrong. Diagram 4 shows two samples of food containing carbohydrate. A student carry out a food test on the sample. So you have white sugar and for product P and milk for product Q. Which of the following observation is true? Okay, so product P just now is sugar, which is carbohydrate, glucose, and product Q is milk, which is protein. So for glucose, you use Benedict solution. For protein, you use Milan test. Okay, so for P, which is the glucose, white sugar, it will change the blue Benedict solution to red precipitate, while for product Q, the color does not change because the product Q is a protein, and protein you need to use Milan test. Okay, so the answer is C. Diagram 5 shows the effect of temperature on the rate of enzyme reaction. Which of the following show the condition of enzyme when the temperature reaches 60 degrees Celsius? So when the temperature reaches 60 degrees Celsius, the enzyme has denatured. So the meaning of denatured is the enzyme breaks up, is no longer in its three-dimensional shape. The active site is also destroyed. So the answer is B. Okay, you can see the polypeptide chain of the three-dimensional shape of the enzyme has been destroyed. So it doesn't have the active site anymore. So the enzyme has denatured. Okay, question 7. Diagram 6 shows a cell cycle. What happened in phase T, U, V, and W? Okay, so here it is not labeled here. T. Okay, let me see here. Okay, sorry, there's a indicator here. Orange color is T, and then followed by U, and green is V, and W is dark blue in color, and the light blue in color is cytokinesis. So the T phase is G1, S, G2, and mitosis, and then cytokinesis. So for T, which is G1, is the time where the synthesis of organelle takes place, right? So it can either be A or C. The second phase, which is the phase U, is the duplication of chromosome. So it can be A or C again. The third phase, which is phase V, is the time when the cells remain metabolically active. Okay, so this is the G2 phase. Okay, and lastly, W is the mitosis phase. okay, which is divided into nuclear division, karyokinesis, and cytokinesis. So here, the first part of the M phase, which is the mitotic phase, is divided to the karyokinesis, which is the division of nucleus, and the cytokinesis. So the answer is C. Number 8. Diagram 7 shows a phase of cell division. What is the number of chromosomes at the end of this process? Now, you can see at this phase here is actually anaphase 1 because the chromosome sister chromatid are still held together at the centromere. Okay, so you can see here that the centromere still held the sister chromatid. So this is actually anaphase 1. Now, after this is followed by cytokinesis. So at the end of the process, we'll find that there is only 3 chromosomes at the end of the process, which means that at the end of telophase 2, because this cell will divide separately from this cell during prophase 2, meta 2, ana 2, and telo 2. So there are only 3 chromosomes left. So the answer is A. Diagram 8 shows 2 types of food manufactured using the fermentation process. So you have bread and yogurt. Okay, so what are the fermentation products during the manufacture of food X and Y? Okay, so for the first one, for food X, it is alcohol or ethanol fermentation. And the second one is lactic acid fermentation. So the answer is C. Okay. Okay. Ethanol fermentation produces carbon dioxide, ethanol, and energy. The organism is yeast. Normally, yeast we add with the glucose to make the bread. While food Y is to use lactobacillus in the formation of the lactobacillus bacteria, yeah, to form lactic acid in the yogurt. Question 10. Diagram 9 shows the transportation of carbon dioxide from body cell to blood capillary. What are P, Q, and R? So from body cell to blood capillary. So the carbon dioxide diffuses into the red blood cell and then combine with P to form Q, and then Q diffuse out into the blood plasma to be transported back to the lungs. So the CO2, okay, will combine with water. So P is water and carbon dioxide add with water. Okay, so P is water, will form carbonic acid, 2CO3. And then the H2CO3 will dissociate to form H plus and H3O3 minus. So the R is actually HCO3 minus, okay, which is the bicarbonate ion. So the answer is B. Question 11. The following statement is about a health problem related to eating disorder. Which of the following is the health problem related? So you have the person eat a lot of food and then after that she vomit. Okay, so this is a symptom of a condition called bulimia nervosa because she eats a lot and then she vomit out the food that she eats, and she will have a lot of medical problems such as weakness, fatigue, and dehydration. Number 12, diagram 10 show a structure of human digestive system. What is the function of the juice secreted by S into T? Okay, so the S secrete three type of enzyme. Okay, so the enzyme are L, A, and T. Lipase, pancreatic amylase, and trypsin. Okay, so trypsin is to hydrolyze polypeptide into peptide. So that means answer number A is wrong. B, to provide alkaline medium for T. This is not the answer. Okay. C, to increase the surface area for fat droplets. This is the function for bile. So it's pancreas does not produce bile. And D, to complete the digestion of starch into maltose. Yes, this is correct because pancreas secrete pancreatic amylase, which hydrolyze starch into maltose. Okay, so the answer is D. Next, number 13. Diagram show a longitudinal section of a villus. Which of the following food source and substance absorbed are related to structure X? Now, structure X is actually lactyle. Okay, so lactyle, this X is lactyle, and lactyle, the food source is butter, and the substance absorbed is either fatty acid and glycerol. Okay. Okay, so lipid is the food class that absorbed through lactyle. Okay, so in this answer here, butter is the source of lipid. 14. Diagram show the antigen and antibody in blood of individual N. So you can see that the person has antigen B and antibody anti-A. Individual from which blood group can receive blood from individual N? So before that, you must know that individual N is blood group B because his red blood cell has antigen B. So antigen B can only receive blood, which of this group can receive blood from individual N? That means which group can N donate blood to? So it has to be blood group AB and B only, because N is blood group B. 15. The following information refer to stages in blood clotting mechanism. Which of the following is the correct sequence? So the correct sequence is first the platelet will coagulate at the wound. Okay, so the platelet, once the platelet coagulate, then the thrombokinase will convert prothrombin into thrombin. Thrombin is a active enzyme, and then thrombin will convert the thrombin will convert fibrinogen into fibrin, and lastly you have, so this is the third, and the last one is this one, fourth. So it's M, O, P, and N. Answer is A. Question 16. Diagram 13 show a longitudinal section of an organ in lymphatic system. These organs are mainly located in the human head and neck region. What is the function of this organ? So this is a lymph node, and a lymph node produces lymphocyte to kill pathogen. Yeah, this is the function of this lymph node. All right, the rest of the answer is wrong now. 17. Diagram 14 show action of antibody in destroying Staphylococcus epidermidis bacterium. Okay, so you can see here the bacteria, okay, is marked, and then the phagocyte engulf it. So this process, which is the following, is true about the action of the antibody. So let's look back at the diagram here. So you can see that this is the opsonization process, because the antibody has marked onto the antigen, so that it's easier to be identified by the phagocyte. So the answer is D. Okay, opsonization means the antibody combines with the antigen and act as the marker. So yeah, it's sort of like a highlight the where the bacteria is, so that it's easier for the phagocyte to identify and engulf it. Question 18. Diagram 15 show two different responses in situation X and Y. Which of the following statement is correctly matched to both situations? Okay, so one of it is you can see that the little kid there, he's been hit by the rubber hammer. Okay, so this is a reflex action. So it is a action that is involve the autonomous nervous system. Okay, and it occur automatically. It does not occur willingly. Neither is it controlled by cerebral cortex. It's not. Okay, it is a control involving the autonomous nervous system, while D is reading a book. Reading a book is conscious, is controlled by the somatic nervous system. So the answer is D. Okay, 19. Which of the following is substance X? Now, X here is a neurotransmitter, which is secreted by the synaptic vesicle. Okay, so these are synaptic vesicle that has the neurotransmitter in it. Diagram 17 shows endocrine gland in human, which label A, B, C, or D secrete thyroxine hormone. So the thyroxine hormone is secreted by the thyroid gland, and the thyroid gland is B. So the answer is B, yeah. #21. Diagram 18 shows a neuron. Which of the following is the type of this neuron? Okay, this is a motor neuron because the cell body is found at the end of the cell. Okay, this is the nucleus. Diagram 19 shows a structure of nephron in the kidney. Which part A, B, C, or D does the reabsorption of amino acid occur? Now the reabsorption of amino acid occur at B. B is called convoluted. This is near proximal. It's near to Bowman's capsule, so it's proximal convoluted tubule. The following characteristics are the characteristic of an animal. Which of the following animal has the characteristic? Streamlined body, segmented block of muscle, muscle in a form of W, the shape of W. So the animal that has this characteristic is fish. So answer is C. Okay, diagram 20 show a fetus in a mother's uterus. So there's a structure S here. Which of the following are the correct function of structure S? To transport antibody from fetus to mother, that's not true because the transportation of antibody is carried out by the blood vessel in the umbilical cord. To secrete progesterone hormone during pregnancy, so this is correct. Okay. Prevent HIV virus from entering the fetus. This is not true because the mother who is pregnant can pass HIV virus to the fetus through the placenta. The site for exchange of materials between the blood circulatory system of the mother and fetus. Okay, so this is correct. The answer is B. A childless couple consulted a doctor on their infertility problem. The doctor diagnosed that the wife has a complication in her fallopian tube as shown in diagram 21. Which of the following procedure can be suggested for the couple to conceive? Okay, so you can see here that the fallopian tube is blocked. So the sperm cannot, is prevented from entering into the fallopian tube to fertilize the ovum. So therefore, the best suggestion will be for the couple to undergo in vitro fertilization or IVF. Question 26. Diagram 22 shows the growth curve of an insect. So it's shown here, Q. Q is ecdysis. Which of the following are true about the process that occur at Q? Now, the process of ecdysis occur periodically, right? So this is correct. The body volume of insect increase. Okay, this is also correct. The length, which result in the length of the insect increase because the insect take in air during ecdysis. The process is controlled by hormone, correct? And the neem undergoes molting process at Q. So it's correct. So the answer is D. Diagram shows a growth curve in a plant. Which of the following describe the growth curve? So if we look at the growth curve, there is a two sigmoid curve. So this is a typical growth curve of a biennial plant. A biennial plant is a plant that takes 2 years to complete its life cycle. The first year result in the formation of leaves, stem, and shoots. In the second year, the biennial plant will start to flower and fruit, and thereafter they die. So their lifespan is usually 2 years. Now, for the annual plant takes only, it's a yearly plant that has a growth curve of a sigmoid, a single sigmoid growth curve, while a perennial plant is a plant that undergoes many growth in every year. So they consist of many sigmoid curve over the entire lifespan. Diagram 24 shows an experiment to study photosynthesis. So you can see here there's sodium hydrogen carbonate at 0.5%, bulb 60 watt, okay, water bulb set at 27. Which of the following statement will increase the number of gas bubble released in the experiment? Now the gas bubble is released because of the process of photosynthesis, and the gas bubble is oxygen. So to increase the process of oxygen, photosynthesis is to use a higher watt for the bulb. To use a water bulb that is set at 15 is not correct because you are reducing temperature. So this factor actually reduces the rate of photosynthesis. Yeah. So now we want to increase the rate of photosynthesis. So reduce the number of leaves. No, this will not help to increase photosynthesis. The lesser the leaf, the lower the rate of photosynthesis. Using sodium hydrogen carbonate at 1%. Okay, this is correct because sodium hydrogen carbonate provides CO2. So if you increase the carbon dioxide, you are going to increase the rate of photosynthesis. So the answer is C. The following information show the effects of macronutrient deficiency. So there is poor growth, root growth, rate of purple spots on the leaf, formation of dark and dull colors on the dull and dark green leaves. So the condition shows that it is lacking in phosphorus. So phosphorus is the macronutrient that if it's insufficient, it will cause this condition. Yeah, all this condition is caused by lack of phosphorus. Diagram 25 shows an apparatus set up to study the effectiveness of photoremediation plant in controlling water pollution. A test was conducted to determine the concentration of ammonia in the lake water. So you have water hyacinth. Here the lake water contains ammonia. So after 7 days, the concentration of ammonia in the water has decreased. What is the best conclusion from this experiment? So here the ammonia has been eliminated from the water, so which means that the roots of the water hyacinth can absorb ammonia found in the water. So this is a method of photoremediation. Yeah. Okay. Diagram shows Apis mellifera piece on a flower of dragon fruit plant. Due to a forest fire event, the population of bee vanished from the dragon fruit farm. Which of the following is the most suitable method to ensure the continuity of the food production. Now, because the bee has reduced in number, so to increase the food production, the farmer can actually spray auxin on the stigma. This method is called vakinocopy, which is the production of seedless fruit. So the auxin will induce the formation of this fruit without seeds. So therefore, parthenocarpy, this process does not involve pollination and does not involve double fertilization to produce the fruit. Okay, 32. Diagram 27 show a longitudinal section of an ovule shortly before double fertilization occurs. The generative nucleus will divide by mitosis in the pollen tube. So the word generative means that it has the ability it has the ability to divide by mitosis to produce two male gametes, which will be involved in double fertilization. Okay, so the importance of this generative nucleus is to produce two male gametes, which will be involved in the double fertilization. Okay, the following statement is about classification of plants based on its habitat. So hydrophytes are plants that have adapted to living either partially or fully submerged in water. Which of the following is the typical features of submerged hydrophytes? Now there are hydrophytes plants. There are some that live floating on the water, and some are fully submerged, okay, under the water. So for plants that fully submerged under the water, they have little or no wet sea cuticle, okay, because they don't have stoma, and they have poorly developed xylem tissue because gases can diffuse easily into the cell because of the thinness of the leaf are very thin, okay, and there are numerous leaves which will increase the total surface area. So the xylem are not fully developed. So the answer is 2 and 3, which is B. Which of the following can be done to prevent the spread of COVID-19? So to prevent the spread of COVID-19 is, of course, to wash our hands thoroughly after grocery, and also to stand at least 1 meter apart from people while queuing. So the answer is A. Next, a quadrant measuring 10 cm squared is used to study the percentage of coverage of rural crocus species. Table 1 shows the result obtained by the quadrant sampling technique. Okay, so to calculate the percentage coverage, you need to add all the 0.6 plus 0.68, all the area covered now. 0.37 plus 0.35. Okay, so let's add that first. 0.6 plus 68 plus 0.35. Okay, so the total area covered is 2 for all the quadrant that is sample. So 2 divided by 5 quadrant is used, times the area for the quadrant is 10 cm squared times 500. So you have 2 over 50 times 100. Okay, so you have 4%. okay, equal to 4%. Okay. Diagram 28 show a tomato plant S and T that have been treated with two different types of fertilizer for a month. What's the best reason for tomato S to be taller than tomato T? So you can see that tomato S is very tall, is taller, and is fruiting more than tomato T. Okay, so the best reason would be because this tomato as is treated with foliar fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, which easily get absorbed by the leaf and carry down to the roots. Okay, so the liquid fertilizer is better. So the answer is C, compared to the compost, which is has to be absorbed by the roots. And usually, if it's a liquid fertilizer, it can be readily absorbed by the roots. So the nutrients are already readily absorbed. Okay. 37. Blood group of a couple is heterozygous blood group A and O. So this is the one, blood group A and O, heterozygous. What are the probability of them having blood group, of their children having blood group A and O? Okay, sorry. Okay, so blood group A, both couple, you will get IA, IO, both are the same, IA, IO. Okay, so IA, IO, IA, IO for both. And then you do the crossing, so you will get, so this one and 3 you get IA, IA, and then 1 and 4 you get IA, IO, then this one and this one you get IA, IO, and finally IO, IO. So you get blood group A, blood group A, blood group A, and blood group O. Okay, so the answer is D, which is 75% blood group A, because we have here 3 to 1. 3 blood group A and 1 blood group O, and 25% blood group O. Diagram show a monohybrid cross between two mice. Okay, so the both mice produces almost an equal number of white fur and black fur. Okay, so you look at the number here, 35 and 33. So which is the possible genotype of the parent? Okay, let's take A. For A, it is B cross B. So you get BB, and the last one is between B and B. So you find that you will get 2 B to 2 B. So it's 1 to 1, which means that it's 50% to 50%. Now, earlier you can see that the number is 35, 33, so it's almost equal. So the answer is A. Next, question 39. Diagram 30 show a variation of fur color for domestic cat. Which of these statements is true about the type of variation shown? A histogram will be obtain presence of intermediate characteristic. Okay, so this is this first one is continuous variation. This is continuous variation also. Cannot be measured or graded. This is discontinuous variation. The characteristic is not distinctive. So this is continuous variation. So the type of variation shown here for the cat is actually discontinuous variation. So the answer is C, yeah? Cannot be measured or graded. Finally, question number 40 shows two DNA profile from hair sample found at a crime scene. So this is the DNA from evidence. This is the victim DNA. So which of the following is the possible DNA profile of the criminal? So for the criminal, you must take the DNA from the evidence. So you must look at the band, okay, the arrangement of the band. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 band here. Okay, so if you compare the band, the one that matches the one for the evidence would be D. Okay, so the answer is D, yeah. So that's it for this paper. Okay, the paper 1, MRSM. Okay, I hope to see you again in the next trial paper discussion. Till then, I see you again. Bye-bye.